All right, happy Thursday. It is March 14th, 2024. Is it a happy Thursday? Yeah, the markets went against us today, which we're used to that, but it's never fun. And it's in our manual trading, our algorithmic trading, or automated trading, actually is cooking along just fine. And that's really, I think it's because of volatility. Volatility picked up, and it's been picking up, and that's kicked in our automated trading. So we'll get right into that. This is the Dow futures, or the YM, and we had this kick back up, a little pullback today, and then a little kick at the end, I think. And if we look at 314, yeah, two losers and a winner, but that was that kick back up again in the last couple days. The Russell actually put in one trade today, and it was just one little winner after all these losers. But the Nasdaq's the one that's really kicking off, and we're putting in new green dots every day, which is new equity peaks. So it's, yeah, these are all like, every time that happens, it's like a big win. So, which is good. And we had 314. We had two of them today. And if you put yesterday with it, that wasn't bad either. So that's the automated trading. The manual trading is here. And I started here with a Dow because 40,000's up here. And we do still have the potential for this thing to go up. Our trend line here is still green, so the trend is still up. And we do actually have a break of structure right here with which should be a a, a good pivot right here, or a solid one. I'm trying to think of what the term is for that, but um, anyway, this pivot here, this one will be the weak one. That's it. Strong pivot. That'll be the weak one. But if you notice here, we had a change in polarity after this, even a little bit after this, and we're back up here, potentially going to take out these highs. So what do you do with that? I'm going to look at it like this and put it in diamonds. Same general chart. It's the exchange traded fund for the Dow. Put an alert right here because I think there's a chance we'll still go lower, possibly pick up the trade. Set my stop right there at the strong pivot, the strong low. And if it goes up here and takes out this pivot, then we're up off to the races, up to a potential where I see it going to 40,000. There's no guarantee at all of that. And if we go back to the Dow, here's the fly in the ointment, is that we've fallen out. Here I've got the RSI Laguerre here, and it's fallen out of the upper reversal zone. That doesn't mean it can't go back up in like it did here, but here's a caution. When it went back up here, it wasn't very long, and we actually went lower quite a bit. If you look back on the chart a little bit more, here's one where it came out sort of and then came back in, and then we had a real sell-off. Here's one where we came out, came back in, and it took a while, but then we had a sell-off. We did go to higher highs. And then this one's the one that throws it all off because we came out and went back in, came out, went back in, all the time while we're just putting in new higher highs and higher lows. So any of that's possible, but if you go back on the charts, this is a decent thing to do. Is how did a certain stock or a certain index perform in the past? And you can see here we actually did this, came up, put in a new high, and then fell off. Now it continued higher and stronger after that with all the right types of pivots, higher highs, higher lows. But that's kind of the point. And another lesson I was going to talk about is, why do we look at the indexes? Well, the S&P 500 is 500 stocks that generally make up the whole market. If you look at the way that it's segmented, it's got all the sectors, and that way you can kind of see a general overview of the market. Then we'll go there and let this thing think for a second. The Dow is 30 stocks that are the industrial stocks. I don't even know what they all are right now. You could Google that. So the Dow is going to be a match for those 30 industrial stocks. The transports are transportation stocks, and I don't remember how many are in there, but let's call it 50. And so that makes up, maybe it's even 100. That makes up this transportation index, and you can see where UPS is going and that type of thing. So the index kind of shows you how the underlying markets should go. The NASDAQ is tech, generally tech heavy stocks. So technology stocks like Apple. So if you're going to trade Apple, so if we look at the NASDAQ here, it's been on a general uptrend. If we look at Apple, it's been on a pretty decent downtrend. It is not in a place to buy for a number of reasons, in my opinion. And if you did start to buy from here, you're actually going against, you're using the power of the NASDAQ to hope, and that's all it is, for Apple to climb back out of a hole. It can do that, but this pivot structure is more important than anything. The fact that we're back down here at these lows is not bad either, but the trend, the long-term trend, if we go to the weekly, is down. Now you are at the bottom of the 2 ATRs. That's what the white dash line is. So a bounce from here is fine. Maybe you're only going to play it from a bounce from here up to this midline. Anything beyond that would be, just good luck. We are oversold on these two indicators down here, so a bounce makes sense. And yeah, you can make a short trade, or a quick trade, shouldn't say short, quick trade, short-term trade, to do something like that, but you're going against this trend and the daily trend, and that's really not a great way to trade, except you could put a stop right here at the bottom over here on this side, and you can evaluate your risk and say, well, I only want to get it up to here, and if I do that, I'm doing a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, and that's a fine trade if that's how you trade. But again, you're going against what the NASDAQ's doing, and what a better stock maybe would be MSFT, which doesn't necessarily throw a buy signal like today. It did 2 days ago, but that's actually what's driving. The question is, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it the underlying stock that drives the index, or is it the index that's helping pull the underlying stock? And I'm going to tell you, I think Microsoft, based on the way it's been acting for a while now, is one of the main drivers in the NASDAQ stocks. So there's a number of them. Intel actually fell apart today, but then it still actually looks okay. This is one of those deals where we got a higher high here and a higher low, and the question is, as long as we don't put in a lower low than the ones back here, this is a great trade. There's no guarantee of that. Anyways, and at the same time, if you look at the weekly chart on this, the weekly trend is up. So being long in Intel goes with the NASDAQ. I hope that all makes sense, and I hope it helps. Anyways, so today the S&P went down 14 points, or 0.29%. The Dow Industrials went down 137 points, or 0.35%. The Russell IWM put in a sell signal here, took out the lows on the hourly chart over here. So the way I work is, if I'm positive over here and I want to reduce my risk, then I'll set my stops based on the hourly chart. It took those out, and we can buy anywhere in this zone now and still be good and set our stop 2 pivots back, which would be right here. It fits a lot of rules, and we could probably get a nice fill in this zone. And as long as it goes back up, makes a new buy signal, and continues higher from there, then we're all good. And so that is what I'm going to be looking to potentially do. A coach at one point, mentor type, said, you can always get out of a stock, and if you're, if you don't like what you see, and if the situation is presenting itself, get out. You can always get back in again. Well, this is one of those situations where my stop got hit. I was making money anyway, made some money. This thing can fall all the way down to here now, which I'm going to put an alert in there. If it does all that, I can buy down there, set my stop here, take a little less risk, and have a pretty good entry. So I could even do all that and then wait for the confirmation on the hourly chart. I don't necessarily do that, but that's a way to try to mitigate some risk. So that's the IWM. It went down 1.79% today, or the Russell here. The IYT went down 1.13%. That's the transports, still generally bullish. The NASDAQ went down 0.3%, or 49 points, still bullish overall. Oil actually jumped today, and it's just more of this. It took me out of my stop, and I don't have any chance to get back in because it hasn't had a pullback. That's a little frustrating. So I'll put some alerts in here just in case it would. And oil looks the same way on the futures chart. Gold, what's gold doing? GLD. It really raced higher, and now we're in this pullback and going sideways type of a motion, waiting for really the next potential leg higher. I think I got out of bonds in the last 2 days. That happened too. Maybe it was even today. This is actually still a decent enough trade to look at next time it comes around. And I think that's good for today. Let's look at the VIX. Actually, let's also look at the Magellan or the McClellan oscillators. This looks like it rolled over, like it's ready to just totally roll over. But the fact that this is climbing higher on this, and we're still above that upper line, I think that could turn into a head fake pretty quick. And the fact that a lot of positions went out today, we could get a nice bounce one of these days for the sake of just how markets move, really. The VIX popped a little bit today, still really, in the lower zone, but that VIX popping just that little bit, affected a lot of positions. Now let's go to stockcharts.com and wrap this up. Bullish percent index. The industrials didn't move. The NYA went down 1.51% today. The transports flipped over to a new column of O's. It's a little one box away from a point and figure sell signal. Minus 15.38%. That's a big move. The NASDAQ down 3.37%. The S&P down 1.1%. The S&P 100 minus 1.43%, and the NASDAQ 100 tacked on some new O's, and this is a new point and figure sell signal. So I'll be watching the NASDAQ for a reversal at some point. I hope it doesn't go all the way down here, but if it does, I hope it does it quick, because I would like to get back into some tech stocks that have some pretty good characteristics to go higher and carry our account values higher. And because that's the name of the game. That's what I got for today. I hope it helps. Take care, good trading, and have a great night.